where everything feels like it's hanging by a thread, where one wrong turn, one delayed bus, one tiny mistake could flip your entire world upside down? Well, for Hannah Mitchell, a single mom in New York. That morning arrived in the form of cold wind, wet sidewalks, and a decision that would change her life forever. A decision she made in 3 seconds. A decision that cost her job and unexpectedly led her straight to the CEO of the company she worked for. Yeah, buckle up. Because this one's about compassion, consequences, and the kind of love you never see coming. It was one of those classic New York mornings, cold enough to bite your cheeks before you're even fully awake. Hannah rushed down the busy sidewalk, boots splashing through leftover rainwater, tote bag bouncing at her side. Inside that bag, a lunch she'd probably forget to eat, paperwork waiting to be signed, and her 10-year-old son Tyler's half-broken asthma inhaler. She checked her watch. 7:45 a.m., 15 minutes to get to work. And being late wasn't an option. She worked at Vertex Innovations, a place where being late wasn't oops, it was practically a criminal offense. Her boss, Richard, let's just say he could make a cactus feel unwelcome. Then her phone buzzed. Mrs. Patel, the babysitter, running late again. Anna sighed. Of course, when it rains, it floods. She turned the corner, picked up her pace, and then she heard it, a screech, a horn, then that unforgettable, sickening thud. Up ahead, a man hit the pavement hard, his briefcase exploding across the sidewalk. People stopped, stared, but didn't move. Hannah froze. Two voices battled in her head. Keep going. You cannot lose this job. Tyler needs you. And if you don't help, who will? She checked her watch. 7:48 a.m. That was the moment. Well, there goes my job, she whispered, and ran toward him. The man was mid-40s, handsome in that rich guy on magazine covers kind of way. His ankle, twisted sharply, definitely broken. I'm fine, he muttered. He was absolutely not fine. As Hannah picked up his scattered documents, she saw the letterhead, Benjamin R. Crawford, CEO, Vertex Innovations. Her stomach flipped. She had just saved the boss of her boss's boss. Before she could process that, the ambulance arrived. The CEO looked genuinely scared, not of pain, but of hospitals. Please, he whispered, stay with me, just until they get me settled. Hannah hesitated. But compassion won. She climbed into the ambulance, knowing full well Richard was going to make her pay for it. At the hospital, Hannah waited. 8:45 a.m. Meeting missed, Richard furious. By 10:15 a.m., she rushed back to Vertex, only to find Richard waiting with crossed arms and a temper the size of Texas. This is the third time you're late. We're done, she tried explaining. An injured man, a broken ankle, an ambulance. Richard didn't care. Single parents always have excuses, he sneered. He handed her the termination paper like it was nothing. She packed her small box, photos of Tyler, a mug, a succulent, and walked out with her dignity bruised but intact. What she didn't know, Ben Crawford was on his way to Vertex at that very moment, and he was asking for her. At the bus stop, Hannah held back tears as she told Mrs. Patel she'd lost her job. Mrs. Patel insisted Tyler would still stay with her until Hannah got back on her feet, payment later. Kindness always hit harder after cruelty. Back home, Hannah fell asleep at her kitchen table exhausted. At 1:30 p.m., her phone buzzed. Ms. Mitchell, this is Patricia Winters, assistant to Mr. Benjamin Crawford. He would like to meet you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Hannah's heart stopped. The CEO wanted to see her? Why? She had no idea. But tomorrow, everything would change again. The next morning, Hannah dressed in her best navy dress, the one she reserved for interviews. When she arrived at Vertex, the security guard told her, "You're on the VIP list, executive elevator." She blinked. That elevator was basically a golden portal for upper management only. At the top floor, she met Patricia, elegant, polished, intimidating in the quiet way. Then she entered Ben's office, and the man she'd helped yesterday was smiling warmly at her. Hannah, he said, thank you for coming. And for the first time since she'd lost her job, she felt like maybe, just maybe, she wasn't walking into trouble. Ben apologized, sincerely, for her firing. Then he shocked her. I want to offer you a job, he said, not your old position, a new one, executive assistant to the CEO, double salary, better benefits, flexible hours for childcare. But there was more. He revealed the upcoming Vertex Foundation, a project supporting single parents, and he wanted Hannah to help shape it, to be its liaison. Why me? She whispered. Ben smiled. Because you have something most people don't. Character, she accepted. And with that single yes, her entire future shifted. 3 months later, Hannah lived in a bright new condo with Tyler. She had a car service, a polished wardrobe, a respected role at Vertex. Work felt meaningful. Life felt stable. And Ben was becoming something else. They worked together effortlessly, shared jokes, late-night planning sessions, Small touches that meant nothing and everything. Hannah tried to ignore her feelings, but feelings don't care about job titles. One night, Ben texted, "Dinner meeting tonight. Car at 60:30. They met with a major partner, and Hannah's ideas saved the negotiation. On the ride home, the chemistry was unmistakable. Before stepping out, Ben said softly, "There's something I want to talk to you about." But the elevator ding interrupted. He smiled. After the foundation launch, no more interruptions, and Hannah already knew this wasn't about work. 2 days later, Patricia walked in looking uneasy. "Ben, your ex-wife is here." Victoria Harrington swept in, tall, icy, flawless. She wanted Ben back. Hannah felt her heart crumble. She excused herself, trying not to show the hurt. That night, she sat on her balcony staring at the city lights, realizing the truth. She was in love with him, and she had no idea if she stood a chance. While Hannah rehearsed for the gala, Tyler casually dropped the bomb. "Oh yeah, Mr. Ben asked if he could take you on a real date someday." Hannah froze. "What did you say?" "I said it's okay, as long as he never makes you cry." Her world turned upside down, all over again. At the gala rehearsal, Ben tried to talk, but Hannah panicked and avoided him. Tomorrow, everything would come to a head. The gala was stunning. Hannah looked breathtaking in her midnight gown. Before guests arrived, she asked, "Is Victoria coming?" Ben frowned. Why would she? He explained everything. The divorce, the incompatibility, the fact that Victoria's return meant nothing. "Hannah," he said, stepping closer, "the life I want isn't with her." But staff rushed in, interrupting the moment again. Then Hannah delivered her speech, honest, emotional, powerful. The room erupted in applause, and afterward Ben asked softly, "Ready for dinner?" "Just us?" She nodded. Tonight, there would be no interruptions. Dinner was intimate, warm, electric, and finally, Ben said what he'd been holding inside. "Hannah, I'm falling in love with you." She felt tears sting her eyes. "Ben, I feel the same. I was just scared." He reached across the table for her hand. "I've already spoken to the board. We'll restructure your reporting line. No rumors. No questions." Later, outside the restaurant, snow falling softly, he took her hands, voice gentle. "Whatever comes next, I want to face it with you." And under drifting snowflakes, they shared their first kiss. Slow, tender, full of promise. For the first time in years, Hannah felt safe, seen, chosen, not by a billionaire, not by a CEO, but by a man who truly saw her worth. One moment of kindness on a rainy New York street had opened a door she never expected, a door to love, to stability, to a future she didn't know she deserved, and this time she walked through it without fear.